Makes it a whole new sound.
Right, exactly. So that's what I think I bring to the table that's slightly different. There's definitely people that spend time on their macros, and I've seen a lot. I just don't see a ton of major morphing capabilities throughout people's presets and stuff, which, I mean, maybe it's for a reason. Maybe it's because people look at it and they go, I don't need to do all that shit. I'm just wasting my time. But I find a great use for it, and I think other people might as well.
Yeah. Well, we've got to get hopefully now that you're on the podcast, we'll get the word out a little bit about the importance of such
agentmethod.net / preset pack. I don't even know if that's at the right URL. And then it's agentmethod.net. That much I know.
I'll link it up in the show notes. People can go down there and look it up.
And there's a bunch of free packs on there too, like other stuff that I've done. So yeah.
Yeah, and you mentioned you did a bunch for Slade and
Kilohertz thing coming out. Yeah.
Any specific things that people should look at to just check out some of your sounds that you've made that maybe they already have on their computer?
Honestly, the agentmethod.net, that and I'm not saying this clearly, agentmethod.net is where I have the stuff that I've done that would most recently represent some of the things that I've done with sound design. It's really just that one pack. A lot of what I've been doing is, like, as I've said, been doing stuff for other companies that are not released yet. So I can't send you to places that don't exist. You know what I mean?
Oh, I got it. So they're all still in the works.
Yeah, they're done. A lot of things are done, but it's just the release structure for big companies. They've got a million other things to get through and backlogs of shit, and so it's just like it's a roiling pot. And I keep making stuff for them for various companies, and they haven't even released what we've worked on previously. You know what I mean? So it's just getting through it all. So I'd like to send people to that stuff too, but until it's all out, I ain't got nothing. So I got my pack on my website. You can check that out.
Yeah, brilliant. Wow, Darrick, this has been super, super fun to catch up and talk about real life shit and not just music, but also a bit of music as well.
Yeah, man.
What's looking up in the next half a year? Like, what do you got planned for the rest of 2021? Music wise, otherwise, whatever.
Totally, man. She's also doing Iveen. She's also doing her own sample pack. So we're working on that stuff a lot. She's got some more songs coming out we got to focus on. We've got a video we're going to shoot soon for another big song of hers, but we got to get that finished. So, summertime stuff where you go out in places and shoot videos and nature and whatnot. So we got some of those things coming up. I've got more sound packs and a couple new videos. I'm working with some new plugin companies. I'm working with Corniff. I don't know if you've followed Corniff as well. They got some really, really cool plugins you got to check out. And I got some videos and other things coming out with them for their stuff. And man, it's just a lot of sound design moving forward and working on various projects. That's pretty much it, dude. Just bringing them sound design dollars.
Sounds like you found your jam.
Yeah, I think that's probably where I'm going to everyone tries to find their way in the industry. I don't think I have given up on being an artist so much in that degree. Not that sound design people aren't, but more an artist, more classically defined. I think I'm probably going to land in the sound design realm. It's like, I'm still excited to do it. Like various other parts of audio production, I'm like, it's just something I have to do. Or like working on the sound design stuff is like, oh, cool. I get to be infinitely creative today and make something crazy and see if it's useful for people. And I just think it's a really fun way of looking at it. So
yeah, well, it makes your whole ethos. It makes sense. Like you're like this. You're a creative guy. You have this artistic side to you, but you're also super geeky and you love the technicalities and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like the perfect combination. I think
it is. She jokes that I'm a robot, and I do think I operate more robotically than most mentally. But yeah, so it's kind of. It's like right up my alley. Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect. Why not?
Yeah, dude.
I thought for me, like being a music producer was the perfect combination of being a musician and also enjoying the technical side. But like what you're doing is to the nth degree on both. So, keep at it, man. Stuff you're working on sounds great. People can go check it out. Thanks, check out the rest of Iveen's stuff and all the other stuff that you've been working on. I'll link down to your website and people can check out your sample packs.
Much appreciated, sir.
Yeah, I guess my final question for you would be, before we wrap this, would be, what's inspiring you to like today, like moving forward, like, what's keeping you going to the studio every single day?
Yeah, it's a great question, man. I think, like I said, that the somewhat and not somewhat, but literally infinite possibility of being creative for the sake of being creative and coming up with something new every time. It kind of reminds me of being a kid and just messing around on little keyboards and stuff and finding out what different notes sounded like together and having that like, oh my gosh, there's infinite possibilities here with how this sounds. And right now I've got that same kind of shine for sound design stuff. And so that's what's carrying me forward these days. That, and, like progressing in life and family and blah, blah, blah and all that. But like, but also, I'm just kidding. But
sure.
Yeah. That, man, that's really what's driving me forward these days is just being infinitely creative with this kind of stuff and just making stuff that people will use and hopefully appreciate and, make really cool shit. And then, as opposed to like, I'd listen to a song maybe on the radio one day and go, oh shit, that's my patch. I made that. Like, because, a lot of things will sound similar, but if you really know a patch really well, because you work on it for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, you'll know when you hear it. And a lot of people, as you've attested to, like, they won't change the patch. They'll just use it. You know what I mean?
No. Party rock anthem, right? LMFAO is like one of those basic Logic patches from like Logic 9.
Is it really? That's hilarious.
Yeah. It's like you hear, like if you had Logic and you use, like I can't find it on Logic X, but on Logic 9, I know exactly where that patch was.
That's hilarious. So
totally.
I find that cool. It's like, oh wow, they used my bass, or they used my polysynth, or they used my plucks or leads or whatever.
It'll happen. And you'll hear it, and you'll know.
Yeah, man. I'm excited for that.
And no one else is going to know, right? You'll be like at a mall, and you'll hear this song, and be like, that's my patch.
And they're like, fucking what? What does that mean? You're like in the mall, like, you're like grabbing people, like, do you hear that? Do you hear that? They're just like, ugh, get away from me.
Yeah. My moment like that was when I was in a Starbucks in New York, and I heard, and I've done a lot of work with Alex Clare, and I heard like Alex Clare's song on the radio. I was like, yeah, I work with him. Like, that's cool.
Cool. That's always fun, man.
Yeah, it's fun to like have a connection to something that's like in the, the popular culture or whatever it is,
It's a great bit of validation, man, and we all need that shit to, move forward.
Maybe not too much, but a little bit of it,
To
get over our, as we spoke about earlier, our
insecurities,
our lack of self-confidence.
Big part of it,
yes,
dude.
Totally.
Creatives were cursed with it.
Yes. Well, let's hope that we get over it. And Darrick, it's been great to schmooze with you again.
Absolutely.
And have you back on the show. And good to see you. And good to see you doing well. And
you too, man.
We'll be in touch.
Absolutely, dude.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Secret Sonics. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Darrick as much as I did. If you enjoyed this episode or any of our other episodes, I'd super appreciate it if you would go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review. It really helps the show. And if you could share this episode or your favorite episode with a friend or two, that would also really help the show move forward. In addition to that, you can find us on social media. Just search for Secret Sonics. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. And you can email me at secretsonics@gmail.com if you have any comments, feedback, guests you might want to recommend, anything like that. So that's about it for now. Until next time, I hope you guys have a great week. Stay safe out there and dig in. Bye-bye.